Hi guys. So today I'm starting a new project. I'm creating a roller compactor. I'll show you the model. So here's the 3D model that I created. It's a Caterpillar CS74B. Now this thing had quite a few challenges when it came to designing, especially this front part, the drum, and fitting all the motors and even the actuator inside. So this will be an interesting build. So here's most of the parts for this build ready, and I'm still printing the main cabin, so that's not here yet. But we're going to start assembling the main chassis so that we can paint it, and let's just jump into it. Most of the supports are now removed, and as you can see, there's a lot of them, so I'm just gonna throw these in the bin. There should be another one of these, so I'm going to go and check if it's finished. Okay, so the other drum wasn't finished, so I'm going to begin assembling the rear chassis, and we'll get back to the other drum, this part, when it's finished. So here's the hardware or the components that you need in order for this compactor to work. These are pretty big bearings. They're for the roller, and the specs on them are 100mm outside diameter and 80mm inside, and I think it was 10mm thick. And then we have a vibrator motor which goes inside the drum, and we have a steering actuator, and the specs on it is right here. And then we have the motors for the wheels. Here's the specs on them. And we have the tires from Lasse. Now these feel really great, man. I can't wait to see them in action. And we have a couple of these 8mm universal flange couplings. They will go on the motors, like so. And then of course we have the ESCs. We have one for the steering actuator, and we have one for the vibrator motor, and we have one for the drive motors. And of course we have a receiver. So yeah, I forgot to mention, of course you need screws and bearings and threaded rods and lock nuts, all that nice stuff. So of course you need those too. Now I have fired up my soldering iron. I will melt these holes so that the plastic will melt together and be much stronger.
When no one knows how it feels between disasters, it comes and goes. The life of dreams is moving faster, and no one knows the constant fear of what comes after. We'll never know. It's weighing me down.
So pretty bad design by me. I was pretty sure that I would fit them both inside here, but apparently there's no room for that. So what I have to do now, I'm going to melt the groove here so that I can slide the motor inside. So I got both the motors in. I'm going to change this design a bit so so you can easily fit both motors inside.
We're falling hard to find the answer. With this life we live, be all that matters. The life of dreams is moving faster, and no one knows.
The other piece for the inside drum is also ready, so we're going to clean it up. As usual, I make grooves in the axle shaft so that the set screws, these screws right here, will dig into it and lock themselves pretty tight. So let me put on the lights for you. So here's the contraption with a vibration motor. It will spin inside here. Now you can fill this room with weights, and this will fit a lot of weights. And when we squish these two together, I will put some pins in here that will go in these holes, which will keep it all in place so you can easily mount it. And this will protect the motor from hitting any of the weights. So it will go together like this. And I'll show you the rest once I finish these parts. So here's the pins I made. They're made from 3mm threaded rods. So it's just simple. These two holes were a little tight, so I'm going to drill them up to 3mm. Now, before I put weights in these, I will put in the threaded rod that will go through here and come from this hole and out here, which will clamp these two together. Because if I put weights in here first, I can't put the threaded rod through here.
Winter's here, the snow is falling on our car as we drive for miles to that little town called home. Tinsel hangs from every corner of the house, and Christmas lights shine bright through the cold evening fog. I hear sleigh bells bouncing up the halls as the church choir sings along. I feel my heart melt when you walk through those doors for Christmas. You're all I want. All I wanted was
So what I did was I used some sticky weights and stuck them onto the back there. I did this to prevent the other weights to crawl back behind the motor and cross out the poles. And with these weights that won't happen. So now I can just pour these other weights in here.
pine tree dressed up with every ornament we got, and stockings hung with no flowing from the top. And I hear sleigh bells bouncing off the halls as the church choir sings along. Feel my heart melt when you walk through those doors for Christmas. You're all I want. All I wanted was you. 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 And I hear sleigh bells.
So now that this inside drum is nice and heavy and locked tight, I can put on the bearings. They go on each side here. And this will actually stay in place. This will not roll around. This will go inside here and will lock into the frame. And then the bearings on top of here will go inside this roller. This is the drum, which then goes on the top of this, and only this lightweight piece will spin around. After testing the bearings, they are actually kind of loose on here, so I'm going to put some rounds of tape around to make this tighter fit.
Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now, do it like it's only a day.
So with the bearings in place, let's go ahead and test the vibration motor if it works. All good. Now that I have plastic welded this together, I can take off these ends and prepare everything for paint.
A mind you can't control, running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away.
So let me show you how this works. These are the drum ends, and they have locking squares or whatever they are called that go into these grooves on the drum.
Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. Oh, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. And we don't care about the bad nights. Before we're sinking, let me feel like this. Make me feel like this.
All the parts are now ready for paint. Well, that wraps up this video. I'm going to paint all the parts, and I'm going to print all the parts for the cabin, and in the next video we will reassemble the parts and assemble the cabin and put everything together, and probably already have a working RC. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.